and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Roll call, Supervisor Tim Shaw.
Here.
Treasurer Jan O'Shaughnessy. Here. Trustee Steve Meckley.
Here.
Trustee David Humphrey.
Here.
And Clerk Sharon Utenhoe. Sharon Utenhoe, Clerk Sharon Utenhoe absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. As far as the agenda, we have for the consent agenda, we need to add the minutes of the closed meeting that same day. And under new business, we'll have the resolution 2025-4 about the, what is that? That's not even sitcom, it's the one about the building. There's supervisor review of improved township expenditures.
Both 4 and 5, Tim.
Pardon me?
2025 4 and 2025 5. There's two resolutions.
Yes.
Five refers to point A, new business A.
Oh, okay, so this is, all right. Got it. So we just got one addition to that, correct? Got it. Okay. Thank you. I make a motion that we accept the minutes, or excuse me, accept the agenda as amended.
Motion made, supported by Dave. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carried, thank you. Supervisor's comments. I've restrained from making comments to the extent that I'm going to tonight. I was asked if I saw the notes on Facebook. All right. All right, I punched up Facebook, got it in church. Where did I go? Here we go. And, you know, it's very disappointing that somebody has to be so negative, so evil, vengeful, that they put misinformation like that out here. And I will say, I pray for you. You know, open your eyes, soften your heart. And here it states, the comment was made about the bonus payments, that they weren't for training, they are for training, and additional are for bonus payments. Nobody wanted to do it, so he did it like Supervisor Shaw did it as the fire department. That's not true. I never did it over there, and he never made that comment. And what was the other one? Oh, about the policy on public comment. I've never seen a rebuttal on that because we did have a policy. It actually stated 2 minutes instead of 3, but we've allowed 3 minutes for our meetings. And we continued to 3 minutes. We just changed it 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and continued the same policy that was 20 years old. And I'm assuming, I've seen a lot of faces here before, that they're here to information and support basically what she has said. And I can honestly say that I don't take anybody for their word or even what they write like that. And because you make yourself look foolish, just as bad as what she is. And it's just frustrating that this has gone on for so long. To me, it's even a smaller part, obviously very minute. I'd compare this to what they did to Trump the first round and the second round. Filing lawsuits, summons trying to get this stuff, recalling. None of this makes sense. All it does is cost the township and the citizens money. That's all it does. Everything's been thrown out. And it's just sad that somebody's gonna be that evil. As far as the public comment, you will have 3 minutes. We ask you the best of your abilities, just keep it honest, fair, respectful. And there will be no rebuttal. We've had some discussion, which I don't agree with. You've got 3 minutes. If you want to ask one of the board members a question, and it takes them 2.5 minutes to answer, that's still your 3 minutes, but we don't allow that. But that's something we can discuss. At this time, 3 minutes to speak, and I will open the floor to public comment.
My name's Mary Mintz, and first I will say that it is very interesting to have the supervisor from the board table attacking a citizen. I am come this evening to, yes, discuss Chief Freeze and the fact that he admitted last month that since 2018, he has been paying bonuses to the fire department's paramedics and EMTs to try and convince some of them to take the job of transporting patients. Sharon Newton-Hove is the one that brought up the subject, and she also stated that she went all the way back to 2008 and found no evidence that the board had ever approved any bonuses. So this was totally done by the fire chief. And for reference, these are the requests for payment that have been given to the clerks. You see there, it says training. It has a total number of hours and an amount, and that's it. That's what the law usually refers to as fraud. When you say that this amount of money is for training, and it's not. He's been doing this for 7 years now, and this board, at the end of the last meeting, asked him to go back and draw up a proposal for these bonus payments. I am appalled that this board is going to possibly, this evening, approve what has been done illegally behind your back, lying to your face for 7 years. In addition, Supervisor Shaw had been working in the fire department since early 2021, January of 2021. He knew it hadn't been approved by the board. He was on the board as a trustee before that, before he took over when Scott Burns resigned. He also served on the County Board of Commissioners, and he worked for 30-something years at Addison Township, so he knows that you have to get approval for these things. He was the fire chief there. And yet he never said anything to the board, and he also benefited from it. He received these payments, so he knew what it was for. But he didn't tell you for over 4 years. That's what makes him complicit. In addition, this township board said last month that the excess payment that was made by the fire chief on the credit card in violation of our purchase policy did not have any prior approval for a hotel room that was a 2-bedroom suite for the convention that he went to just earlier this month. And the township board said that they were unable to do anything about it because it was non-refundable. I agree, I understand that.
Your 3 minutes are up. You can finish it up.
That amount though of $1,226 needs to be withheld from Chief Freeze's pay for half of the hotel bill, because otherwise it is a misuse of public funds. It can only be used to benefit this
Does
township.
anybody else wish to speak?
For everybody here. Sunday is gonna be basically from Detroit, they're gonna come out and they're gonna burn and kill and do everything. This is Sunday. Be aware, prepare yourself, because they're coming out of all Detroit area. And of course, basically, and warn them, saying they're gonna do the same thing to us, what they did to the, over at the, basically, you gotta, I apologize, but, open heart surgery has a tendency to take away a lot of things. But, I think, Hillsdale's basically is with the college, I think a lot of people hate the college. I think we're basically, being looked at, close. So prepare, we know this is gonna happen with all the people that has come in. What do we have, 30 million people now? 30, they keep saying 12, but there's more than that, so just prepare. We'd like to get a militia, which is the constitution for each county. We could get it works, basically, for each county, constitution allows us to have a militia. We should do that, protect our counties on that, so just be prepared. And, of course, I told you that probably 6 months ago, prepare ourselves, talk with Scott. Did you guys do that, or you just laughed me off? Thank you.
Can I just ask, just one, are you talking about the pro-Palestinian people or
You got it.
Antifa?
No.
Or, I mean, anybody that's paid by George Soros?
That's, the largest one is at Detroit area. They're all prepared to go.
And literally, they want Christians dead.
They want to burn them.
Yeah.
Everybody dead, not just Christians.
Thank you. Right at 3 minutes, perfect. Anybody else wish to address the board?
I just, are those claims substantiated? Have you heard anything? I don't know if we can have a conversation about this quick, but has anybody heard anything about that?
Ma'am.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on. Fire report.
And we had 95 calls for the month of March, total of 312, which is an increase of 81 calls from last year. There are 81 vehicles, 12 fires, 2 vehicle accidents. We charged out $32,842.30, and we received $51,334.
Questions, comments on the fire report?
My question is gonna be the same as it was last month, and that is, where are we at with your budget? How are you setting with your income, compared to the deficit that we were running? I mean, I like seeing the number that, the
Yeah,
credit.
51 helps. We're still behind, I don't know how much yet, because I was gonna get a report from Sharon, and I didn't know she was gone.
Okay.
Haven't got the report to see where we're at, and to compare it with the billing company to make sure that we're on the same, we've got the same amount of money coming in, so.
Okay, well, we need to, I guess, moving forward, obviously, those numbers are gonna be at the top of my agenda, that's nothing new. But when we fall behind on something, it's gonna draw my attention real hard, and, so I would just ask you to.
Oh, and on the billing company thing,
I was gonna follow up with that, glad you brought it up.
we got that down a little cheaper for you, so, but I'm gonna plan to start that with the new budget year, that way we don't get hit any harder than we already have. But we got that down from 15 to 10, I talked to that company, and then with a $8,000 $1 a year, you know, service fee or whatever they call that for, you know, doing our upgrades and
But,
Our
I mean,
support, I guess,
obviously,
what it is,
in my opinion, it's, you know, billing insurance companies and getting money back from Medicaid and all that. It's not my forte. I'm sure there's not many people in this room that could, you know, sit there and kinda like doing your own taxes. Not recommended. But at the same time, you as the person in charge of that budget and that line item, you gotta be on top of it. And you gotta know those numbers, and you better live them, breathe them, eat them, and be able to know them, and be able to come to these meetings prepared, so that we can, you know, have meaningful discussions about them. So, thank you, Bill.
Anything else? Trish, report first.
Good evening. In our checking account for roads, it hasn't changed at all, still $328. It would be nice to get some more funds in there and do something with our roads. General disbursement is at $101,193. In savings at ICS, we have $769,354. Michigan Class has $407,336. And our Medicare Fire, as we looked at with Scott, $63,433. In our certificate of deposits in the multi-bank securities, we are at $301,614 for a total township fund balance of $1,643,261. Our tax accounts, in checking, we are negative $25,199, and the savings is $58,000. And what that is just we settled with the county earlier this week, and we approved all of our 2000 payments and debts, et cetera, with them. And these are just funds in transit because this happened on the last day of the month. And so the funds are in there, it's not negative anymore, but for that point in time it was, but we're caught up. So the total fund balance then will be $1,676,161.
Or 1 million.
Or 1 million, excuse me, yeah, the bigger one. And I did want to bring up, we do have the CD that we had talked about before, that came due on 4/11. And I talked with the multi-bank securities firm, and they said the best rate going on right now is at 4% for 36 months. So I'm asking for the board to approve that, and we're just gonna keep a conservative position at this point, because everything's crazy. And we have another one that's coming due in July, and maybe by that time, we'll have a little more confidence to broaden our scope. But for right now, that was a good conservative 4% for 36 months. So I guess, Tim, do I ask the board for approval on that at this point?
Well, yes, do they have something for, say, 1 year or 12 months?
I did not ask that. I can go back and talk to him about that.
If we do that, in my opinion, I think it'd be best to do it for 12 months and see what happens then. I would prefer that. I gotta believe it's gonna be closer to 4%. And cause I truly believe unless the whole bond falls out and we don't have anything anyhow, things are gonna change within the next 12 months and it'll be better than that,
Okay.
my opinion.
I can ask him that.
So with that, I would, for a 12-month period, ask that we authorize the treasurer to commit to a one year, the best rate she can get.
All right, further discussion. I see on the, and maybe this is just a typo on what I received jammed, I see a JP Morgan bond that was matured on 2/26.
That was a typo, it was just a test for you.
Thank you.
That should be
Thank you.
7.
You know that I'm gonna, I mean, I'm sorry, but this
I
guy's
like
stuff
your eyes,
matters.
I caught that as well, after we already had these printed out. That will be due
I just mentioned that to her.
7/26.
7/26.
Change that to
Seven,
7.
wait, 7/26, that's the one that you're talking about that's coming up.
That's the one that's coming up, so
Okay,
we can
all right,
maybe
thank you.
get something better in July.
Okay,
Okay, we got a motion on the floor for a 12-month CD as opposed to the 36-month.
well, do we know that we can get a 12-month CD? I guess how can we make a motion if we don't know if we
Well,
got one of those?
I was saying that, you can send, well, you can get those, but we don't know what the rate is. I mean,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
wanna go with this, then that's.
No, I'm not comfortable with the 36 months, that was another issue of mine, but at the same time, I guess I just wanna make sure that, I mean, we can't just have it sitting there doing nothing.
Right,
I mean, right now, it's going in backwards at 4%.
yes.
Doesn't need to go backwards any farther or harder than that. So, yeah.
Okay, I can send a text out tomorrow to the board and tell you what the rate is for 12 months.
You can do that, but we need to make a
Decision tonight, correct.
So,
I'd support a 12-month CD as opposed to the 36-month presented by the treasurer.
any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Roll call vote, O'Shaughnessy,
Support?
Smeckley,
Yes.
Humphrey,
Yes.
and Shaw.
Yes, motion carried, thank you. Anything else with direction? Please, Chief.
All right, for the month of March, 551.5 hours worked, 3,598 miles patrolled, 357.1 gallons of fuel used, 5 citations for vehicle crash, 12 assisted the fire department, a total of 140 complaints for the month. From central dispatch, there actually was 101 calls to our township, only 78 were complaints. 14 of those outside of our work schedule hours, 4 of those were on other calls, 2 were found not to be ours, 7 information calls. There was 1 call we missed, I'm not for sure, it may have been a direct call requesting the state police, I checked our log, I can't figure out why we didn't get that call, but sometimes they'll ask specifically for the sheriff's department, state police, I can't attest to that. So for the month of March, we're at 75% coverage for the month. So all I got.
Good. Any questions, comments, please, Chief?
Did we get anywhere with the gas?
That's
With
where
grinders or?
Miners,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, we have not had any issues since the last time we spoke about it, so hopefully it's been rectified. The guys know if there's an issue, they're ready to let me know. So if I get another issue, I'll let the board know, but right now, currently, as far as I know, everything is, been corrected. The 2 bills I talked to Supervisor Shaw about that we thought had been taken care of, they were turned back in, so I don't know if they were forwarded to Briner to get payment back on the first one.
Both those tanks out there are locked, right?
Correct.
Okay. I just wanna make sure there was an ability for somebody to go out there and do any kind of hinky-dinky tampering, pouring water, pouring whatever. I mean, I'm just, any more, I don't take anything.
And for all, there's separate locks, I mean, for distribution for pumps, we have the keys for those, but Briners actually has the key to fill them, so I've not seen them unlocked at all, so, or anybody out there messing around.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Anything else? Park and Rec.
Well, been pretty busy down there. I brought this up the last meeting or not, but, we're gonna get that new ball field going. And, got the bases in last week, and the only thing I need to do now is, get the foul ball line poles put up. I've moved the bleachers, we have 3 bleachers, and we're gonna have 2 on each field. I thought would be nice. We had that, brought that up in our Parks and Rec meeting, and I looked up a new set of bleachers, same as what we have, 15-foot, 5-seat, 8-inch rise, identical. Got 3 different bids, came up with, it's gonna be, anyway, it's gonna be later on in the new business, but, the place out of Iowa has basically the best price of what we can get for it. And, anyways, other than that, I've had, last 2 weekends, I've had workers from the sheriff's department, and we've been working clean brush. I pretty much got the whole north hill cleaned up. I'm supposed to have them this Saturday, but, the Easter weekend, they called me this morning and said, yeah, you don't get them, and weekend. Got one more area of eyesore that I wanna get cleared up, but anyways, with tar and stuff like that, he said, well, I get you, work. I mean, you gotta look around, and anyways, he's swapping out with somebody else, so I am gonna have him next Saturday. As far as the concession stand, we got a new floor in there, waterproof vinyl. We got, next week, hopefully, we're gonna get the, that floor was at no cost to the township. We're gonna get the cabinets and, countertops installed that we've had for 2 years sitting around. And, let's see, what else? Next on my agenda will be, getting old Chadfish and finding out, I gotta find a line over there. I cleared that one line and it is good, it works over by the pavilion. I gotta find out where I put it, where it crosses under the road. And then get with him as far as when he can install the cameras, because I'll have to get a hold of Miss Dig, and I'll probably have to run a trencher again to do that area out there and that area from the Raskelvin down to the pole by the pond. I guess that's all I got.
Thank you. Anything else? Any questions? You got anything to add?
Just
You act like you got something to say.
Just a bit of a flex for the park. McCourty Park is a part of the Irish Hills Regional Chamber of Commerce, and they are, as of tonight, hosting their Better Together Community Awards. And McCourty Park, and particularly the Rathskeller, is getting a Spruce Award for the renovations that had taken place. It's a beautification award, so just to highlight some of the features and organizations around this area, and so McCourty Park is getting one of them tonight, so.
Yay. Wonderful. Dan, do you know when Frontier Rustic can start work again? Are they waiting for a little temperature on the bridge repairs?
I got it, you're talking about Melinda?
Yes.
I got to get in touch with her.
Okay, good.
And, I want to get in touch with her and meet with her, and basically I got 2 bridges that definitely need work done on them.
Right.
Get a bid on it and go from there.
Great, thank you.
One comment you made this week, did you say a descendant of McCourty was looking to use the park?
Yes, yeah, someone by the name of Todd McCourty, who said he was a relative of Herb McCourty, reached out and is hoping to host, have a wedding at the park next year. I have not yet heard back from him since that reply. I reached back out just to give him an overview of what rental options we have and the pricing, and saying how we would love to assist in this endeavor. But very exciting nonetheless, and yeah, we'd love to
Yeah, I
something
thought
in
that
the
was
future.
very interesting.
Host a McCourty at the park.
Oh, and one other note, we talked about this in our meeting too, it's like, we need to find somebody, and basically, maybe, I don't know, this year, like next year or something, we'll have 2 ball fields going this year, somebody that knows how to set up tournaments, because they said we can make money that way. I don't know who to contact or where to go with that either, so that'd be a thought for somebody that knows something that.
I could help you with that, and even the coaches that use that could probably help us out in the tournament. It's just a, time thing. So, yeah, good. Anything else? JCB, Dolores.
Last Saturday, we had our fundraiser. We made $1,219.96. And after expenses, I turned in $1,127. So we're very proud of that one. And we had approximately 58 volunteer hours this month.
Wow, good.
Thank you.
Any questions for Dolores?
Did you get your, everything installed that you were, the contract, was it last month? No, you weren't here last month. 2 months. You got all your work done? That you
Yeah.
want, that you had,
So
that you
far,
were,
yeah.
okay.
Just, we got this little small things that we do ourselves, but
Yeah.
minor things. Yeah,
Great job.
thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
And we appreciate all your work in cleaning out the kitchen and turning that into some money. That was wonderful. That's
It
great.
took a while, but I did it.
You did. There's a lot of pieces. I don't know, I think we moved out 7, 8, 9 boxes.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
A little better presentation when somebody uses the facilities.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it was a lot of crap. Old stuff's been there probably since the building was built, I'm sure.
So, supervisor report, I have a lot of time in on for the roads. Mark touched base on that. I got a call about every day for the roads, but it is what it is right now. There's not much we can do with it. I mean, the weather and what's going on, and the fact that we don't get any money for roads. I met with, like I said, the Lake Association in Somerset, about a special assessment district. We're working on that, going through, they had a map, so I've taken that, I'm gonna ride around. I've got about half done of what my opinion, as far as what roads, to what level they need to be repaired. I did go to the Irish Hills meeting, and, you know, they're pretty excited about, including Park and their, things, and, because we're right on the tail end of it, and, it's a good finish, so. Assessors report, we have an assessors report here, section 3, pages 1. All documentation from the March board review has been accepted in the Hillsdale County Equalization Department. The 2025 assessment year has been finalized, and we have now created the 2026 assessment database on the VSNA. All documentation received by Hillsdale County Register of Deeds Department is up to date and entered into our database. Attached is a report, is the assessment roll certification being given to the Hillsdale County Board of Commissioners by the Equalization Department. When signed, this document shows that all Somerset Township assessed values are adequate for each class of property, and the County Board of Commissioners did not have to make any changes to the assessment roll to equalize values. When signed at their meeting, I will provide a signed copy of the Township Board. Also attached is a graph provided by Hillsdale County Equalization Department showing the values of each township and city within county 2025 year. And if you have any questions, this stuff will be available after the meeting, but if you have any questions, get over our assessor. Zoning administrator, Tom.
For the month, had 15 zoning compliance requests, or 5 zoning compliance requests, and 6 site inspections, 41 calls, emails, sent 18 letters out to property owners for the ZBA meeting for the 15th. The packets were sent out to the board. Attended 1 township meeting for a total of 26.75 hours.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions for the zoning administrator? County Commissioner.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
You're right.
Yeah. You know, it's that or the alternative, right? Either we get old or we don't. Interesting, you mentioned your assessors report. We did accept the county equalization report on Tuesday at our Board of Commissioner meeting, so you should be getting those signed copies. That was submitted to the state of Michigan by the equalization director. And that, when we accepted at the county, what we're doing is we're taking those numbers from all of the local township assessors. After the local board of reviews have met and heard any disputes from any local residents on their assessed value or the taxable value, those come to the county commission. We accept those, make sure that they meet all the relative ratio values, and then submit that on to the state of Michigan, and that's all we do at the county level. That's your local assessor, your local board of review that would make any changes to those assessed or Somerset a little bit ago and looking at a special assessment district there. We moved our first meeting of the month back because last week was the Michigan Association of Counties Conference in Lansing, and there were some of us commissioners that took the opportunity to go and attend that. So we met this last week Tuesday. We're meeting next week Tuesday as well, which is the fourth Tuesday of the month, which is our regularly scheduled second meeting of the month. At that meeting, we will be presented with a resolution from the drain commissioner and authorizing the drain commissioner to bond for up to $500,000 to complete the dam repair on Lake Somerset. He's anticipating the interest rate on that bonding to be not more than 5%. The property owners on that can avoid paying the interest if they pay their full assessment share in full. As far as the exact deadline to do that, I don't know. Otherwise, that assessment will be spread over 5 years for the residents that are on Lake Somerset. Later this year, he's had some conversations with the Lake Leanne, I'm right, district. There's some major work that was done on that. One, a redetermination of the legal lake level, and two, there was some major work that had to be done this last winter on some blockage of the outlet pipes on that lake. And because of that, he's looked at either bonding to cover that total cost that was involved in that, or doing a one-time assessment to those property owners on that lake. And that's, in talking with the Lake Association, they're looking at a one-time assessment on that. He's anticipating that for the lakefront lots, that'll be about $200 for that one-time assessment, and the back lots will be about $50 for that one-time assessment. But I'm not exactly sure on that. By doing it as a one-time assessment, those property owners will save the cost of doing a bond and the interest on that, which just as legal costs and everything to do the bond for Lake Somerset, I think he said it was about $17,000 to $18,000, all the notices and stuff that has to be done on that. So
Glad you mentioned that. We did attend the meeting here, and I did the Lake
Tuesday.
Association and, yes, the drain commissioner. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, and again, each of those property owners will get notice of those assessments and those determination days when they can come and find out exactly what their assessment's going to be. All I have at this time. Any questions for me? Okay. Yep, thank you. Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, for that, Monkey Road project, that was at least a year. Like you said, we know, $500,000 that they're gonna pay, take care of the dam, so. Mark?
Thank you. Don't have to tell anybody the gravel roads are bad. Anybody who lives on one knows it. We did start, the county road commission did start grading gravel roads this week. And they were set back by probably at least 2 weeks from work to take care of the storms that hit. I don't know what Somerset got. We got 2.5 inches of rain. And there were trees to be taken care of, and culverts that washed out, and roads that washed out. So they've been busy doing that. Also, Jerome Road, section, I think it's north of Chandler, and that disintegrated during the frost. So we've had to go in and grind
North
that.
and south, actually.
Yeah, so we're going, in the process of rebuilding that section of the road.
Walworth also.
Yeah, Walworth Road too. And then there's several in the southern part of the county that disintegrated too. So they're out working. They'll be starting gravel patching, hopefully,
weather permitting, we'll start the burning next month. We hope that it doesn't get another flood or something. Other than that, haven't got really much to add other than on the political front. The House did pass a series of bills that would go to local roads and municipalities. And there's going to be if their version does eventually pass, it wouldn't be a tax increase to the citizens. It has got to go through the Senate, and the governor has to sign it. Now, when it gets into the Senate, other things can happen. So, I would appreciate, and I'll make up a list of Democratic senators that we could either call or send emails to in support of this bill. Because I know from the figures that I've been shown through the County Road Association, it would double our budget.
You have any idea what that number might be? I don't know what your budget is.
Our budget right now is $9 million, so we'll go to 18 then. That's.
Best case scenario.
Best case scenario, all the way around. In that case, we would be able to do more maintenance work on the gravel roads and on the secondary roads. We really start to do things. Because as I've said before, the cost to rebuild a mile of road is $500,000. And on a $9 million budget, you don't go too far. But other than that, that's about all I've got to add. Be glad to take any questions, comments from anybody.
Questions?
Mark, the new trucks you said that we got for the county.
Yeah.
Are they in the use?
Yes, they were delivered 2 months ago. They actually did some snow plowing with them. And those are what's known as a swap loader truck. They've got a lift on them, and they can drop their box off and put a tank on a flatbed or anything. Similar to the roll-off trailers that you see that they use for collecting scrap iron or even dirt, roll-off and living. These are two that we got. A lot of other road commissions are starting with those because, they've got a lot more usefulness. And you're not just tied to one box, but yet they have the ability to plow snow and grade roads. Yeah, we got two of them. We were lucky. We had 2 trucks ordered for over 2 years because of COVID. And we finally got them in. And we'd had these trucks on order, and all of a sudden they came, so that kind of took a bite out of our budget there too. But those trucks are a portion of the state roads, and MDOT will reimburse us for those trucks over a 5-year period. They'll pay 80%, but we have to do the upfront. And so, the way our budget is right now, if it wasn't for putting those trucks on the MDOT roads, we wouldn't be able to buy new trucks. I mean, it's just a new truck's $385,000. Other than that,
I'd like to comment before we get off the roads. I'm an ex-supervisor over in Adams Township, and Mr. Shaw and Mark both commented that there's not enough money for the roads. In Adams Township, I believe we have 75-ish miles of road. You guys might have a little bit more because of the lakes. The county-wide, I believe there's about 1,200, and if anybody's ever down and hasn't seen the county map, you still have that same colored map. It's a beautiful, beautiful map. So if you ever need a map of the county, if you don't have them here at Somerset, you might get a few for the people. It's a really, really good map. But it would behoove the people to either encourage the boards to contact legislators or do it yourself if they're really seriously going to double the monies that we have for roads. That would help a lot.
there's 583 miles of gravel roads and 600 of paved.
Yeah.
After our conversation at Adams, I went and checked on that, because I told him I thought we had more than that, but we didn't, we only had 583.
And we complain sometimes about the road commission without knowing how many drivers people that work on the road would you have? Maybe 35?
35.
That number is down as well. I had a conversation probably a year or better ago with Stan Clearman, the ex-county road engineer. And at the height, they had near 90 people, 85, 90 people working. Now, perchance with improvement of equipment, you maybe can get the job done a little more efficiently. But when you don't have money and you don't have workers, it's pretty hard to fix the roads.
Thank you, Mark.
Yep, thank you.
Perfect time.
All right, good evening, Board of Trustees, good evening to our general public, and again, I'm very happy to be here, great evening. We are today here, obviously, you all know that Somerset Township will be also including our revised zoning ordinance from the Planning Commission, and then we had that hearing back in December, and that public hearing was placed for our general public to give in their input. We believe in public outreach, and so our Somerset Township and all citizens spoke up. We made a lot of corrections. Some of the ordinances that we just cannot use or cannot enforce, those were removed to make it more sound, make it more constitutional, to work within the rights of our property owners. And so we have zoning ordinance that's revised. So that is what we have on the agenda for the Board of Trustees to consider and then recommend it to approve it. We were working on some other platforms, which is very new to our Somerset Township. One of them is the solar project. Obviously, we haven't gone anywhere with it because of the facts that we were still working on so many details. A couple of things that went into our last Planning Commission meeting was if there was any decommissioning and how we were supposed to go that route. So again, that's public outreach. We need to connect with our public as it relates with any kind of a solar energy facility. We haven't done any of this in our close by vicinity in the county, yes. So a lot of things that would be under 100 volt, that would be something that might be into consideration. Again, a lot of work needs to go. We need to look into it before the state takes over. So I still believe as a local planning commission, we do have our powers rather than having to wait for state to tell us to do anything. So that is something that we will discuss on the upcoming meetings, to look at it, to revise, and to see what we can have in place. And moving forward, we did have one more planning commissioner join us, and so he will be taking over next month, Dale Winkleman, and so we've got very good representation there for our citizens, and I believe he's already sworn in, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so thank you. So I want to welcome Dale Hinkleman to the Planning Commission. I think he'd be a very good asset to our township and our members of the township. And moving forward, we will be looking into various other entities that is relating to variances. We do a lot of those permits and variances, so that's also a part of our zoning ordinance. And you will see in Article 5 that we have establishment of the Township Board of Appeals, where under that section, we have the duties and the variance and the interpretation of the zoning ordinance. So those couple of sections were revised and added on to our zoning ordinance. All right, and so with that, is there any other questions or any concern from the Board of Trustees?
Thank you, Lou.
Okay, very good.
And obviously, you participate when we discuss the
Sure.
zoning
Yep, absolutely.
master plan. Okay. Revenue, that would be up to you, Barb.
Total payable, $68,052.23. Total payroll for the month was $78,589.84. The grand total of $146,642.07.
Is there a motion to pay the bill?
I make a motion, we pay the bill.
Motion made,
Support.
supported by Dave. Any questions, comments, discussion? Roll call, please.
Roll call vote, Meckley,
Yes.
Humphrey,
Yes.
O'Shaughnessy,
Yes.
and Shaw.
Yes, motion carried, thank you.
second that.
Motion made, supported, Van, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, thank you. Okay, the next item is the invoice cloud early termination. I'll let Dan touch base with the owner of them, so.
Invoice Cloud was our credit card servicer. When we first started out, Josh Weiss originally was in charge of working with them, and their communication was spotty, and the software company that we work with in a large part of the county, and in fact the entire state, BSNA, decided they would come up with a credit card payment system, and theirs is much more efficient. It goes right into our systems, it reduces workload for us, and all we do is track to make sure everything works. So we informed or iCloud that we no longer needed their services, and they decided to hold us to a contract that would end in about 2.5 years. So we've been negotiating with the lawyers to try to get that to the best price we could, and we've settled on $10,000 to get out of that contract. And we will make that up over time with BSNA with less costs that they have. They charge less per month, and as I say, it's integrated, so it's a good move. It just stings a little bit, but it was something that was missed when they wrote the contract and said it's a 3-year, unless you say anything, it's gonna go another 3 years. And nobody knew when that 3 years was up. Just poor communication at that time, so now we're trying to keep all of our contracts front and center to make sure we're on track with everything. So we're looking for board approval to pay the Invoice Cloud termination contract for $10,000.
All right, I've got a few questions.
Great.
Number one, what was the agreed upon amount? If 10,000 was the negotiated amount, what was the agreement?
It started at 12.5. I came back with 8. The lawyer was, well, I'm kind of nervous about that, and then he came back and said, okay, they'll agree to 10.
Okay. Now, you know where my follow-up's gonna be, all right? What were our costs, and how many people were using credit cards to pay? I wanna know what the cost, because to me, 10 grand is a lot.
Sure, it
And
is.
if the original buyout or whatever was only 12.5, that's no negotiation. I mean, we have a terrible attorney.
Yes,
I'm gonna be blunt, that is not a negotiation. I would've started at 6
Yes,
or less,
yes,
25 cents on the dollar.
yes.
You want any money from me? I mean, all right.
Well, it's also money that they kind of made up and said, well, this is about what we would have made. There's no proof to that.
Right. So what do we know? What do we know from our budget, from our line items in the past 2 or 3 years? And it's probably inflated a bit just because of COVID and people paying online as opposed to coming in and paying with a check to begin with. Maybe. I know I pay my taxes with a check.
Okay.
Twice a year. And so I'm curious, do you know those numbers?
Not offhand, no. That's a good number to know. I'm caught flat-footed. when
Okay,
you
well,
said how
and
many
that's fair.
people-
I'm just, for me to be on board with this, oh my gosh, that's insane. And I mean, if they're only gonna get like $2 grand or something from us projected for the next 3 years, all right, so we use BSNA and we have to manually enter them or something.
No, we
But
don't.
for 10 grand, huh?
We don't have to manually enter them.
Well,
with
that's-
BSNA. That's
Right, well,
the
no, I
difference.
understand, but for 10 grand, we can manually enter them.
Not really. It's a, I believe, and I can't remember the exact figures, but I think iCloud was $180 a month just to open the door. And BSNA, I can't remember their figure, that was less. But the savings are really in the integrated system that reduces the time that we have to go in and double enter all of the payments.
So we're talking $2,160 a year is what their fee is.
Right. And
Do
then
we know, I mean, because I need both sides of this.
Right.
I'm getting one side, and I'm getting a resolution from an attorney that says we should pay him 10 grand when we only would have to pay him 12.5 without them. I mean, for crying out loud, what's our bill to the attorney?
Yes.
Another grand? We're nowhere. That is, that kind of stuff drives me nuts, and you guys know how I feel about it. I need more information. I'm sorry, but I don't like this. It doesn't smell good. I don't like it.
It's fine, we'll let you step into the negotiation track. I'd be happy to have you step in, work with that lawyer. And you're right, he is a junior guy. You know, I laughed when he came.
I don't need to work with a lawyer. I need to talk, I mean, if you're gonna negotiate directly with iCloud. Just say, listen, what, I mean, and at the end of the day, maybe the township doesn't offer credit card payments for their taxes. Maybe we cut it out for 2 years.
We don't need to do that because of BSNA.
But I'm just saying, for purposes of this, you delete it. You let this contract ride, and you pay them the $2,100 a year for 2.5, you said it was 2.5 years? Times 2.5, I'm at 5,400, like I said. I'll give you your fees, but I'm not gonna sit there and bow down and bend over. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get animated, everybody, but just, that's my,
The math doesn't add up.
it gets me going.
We agree.
The math doesn't add up, because if it's gonna cost us 10 grand to get out of it, but 5,000 to stay in it.
That's just their monthly fee, to open up the door.
Okay.
Now, every payment, they take 3%.
Realist,
All right.
So,
So, anyway, I just,
I can get you more
Sorry.
figures, because it is in our benefit to get them off our backs. And you're right, I wasn't happy with that negotiation, but that's the lawyer that I was given. And I haven't been around enough to try to say, let's go up to a higher lawyer in the chain.
Okay, with this, you know, I agree with you 100%, but this is where the discussion needs to be made, and that's why we're having it here.
Yep.
As tough as it might be, and insulting as it might be to everybody else who's going around. So,
It's in neutral right now, there's no reason that we have to force it today. I'll be happy to get all of that information, Steve, so at the next board meeting, we can have a better comparison. And I'll be able to.
well, sure, I need apples to apples. I need BS&A's fees with the amount of money that we have projected, or that
Yes.
over the last 2 years, that we have run through credit cards.
Yes.
Because my hard stop would be, we're done with credit cards, we're not doing it. Or there's a, I mean, we have, anyway. Okay,
I agree.
sorry.
Okay,
set a motion to table that then.
yes.
I would make a motion that we table this early termination agreement until we have further information.
Support.
All in favor, aye?
I
Opposed, nay? Motion carried, thank you. Okay, the FOIA procedure, I thought we dealt with that last month. We even have a copy of it here.
I did not have anything on,
Pardon?
I don't, in my packet, I don't have anything on FOIA or solar.
Yeah, anytime someone to get with you or get with someone to say, complete it.
Where's all minutes? We didn't take action on that last month? Not in here. Road again?
Yes.
I think we touched on the solar energy, or moved it slightly there. We need to come up with some sort of ordinance policy of our own. I attended the conference, and one of the assessors that they had, she talked about solar energy. Anybody that comes in to do solar, if we don't have anything in place here, in New York State, whether it's above the 50 megawatt or below 50 megawatt. So we have to come up with something. Even if we come up with an ordinance, it has to be in line with what the state says. And so, which is much crap, but, we can't go above and beyond what they're doing. But, what they all approve. So if we don't have anything in place, I think it's $7,200 per incident or, file that the township would get. So we need to come up with something, so we'll at least get that, even though we don't have the control. And that's why I've sent the stuff off to, Nimble, and hopefully we can get something, going with the planning commission to, get something adopted at our level, so we have a little bit of say in it. Not a lot, but we'll financially benefit from having that ordinance done. Okay, the quarterly pay for the fire department. As of right now, it has been put on hold. And technically, I think this item and the next item are, one and the same. What's that?
You didn't ever use it in this line item?
Yeah, like I said, one, this one and the other one are, in my mind, are one and the same, unless somebody else feels differently. As far as the discussion on the fire chief evaluation,
If we're gonna discuss that, I would like to go to closed session on that.
okay. Because like I said, the quarterly pay, as far as that goes, has been put on hold. And we need to get that resolved so we can pay these people. So, are you questioning a closed session?
Yes.
Okay. I will move that at this time we'll go into a closed session